Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show. I will have some announcements and a recap for all of you, but before we dive into any of that, Nick, would you go ahead and kick off a round of character introductions?
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Embers of White Ash, the Tabaxi Sun Soul Monk.
Hi, I'm Kay. I play Lady Elwyn Amelos, who is the Elvish Arctic Circle Druid.
Hello, I'm Melissa, and I play Tuppence, who is a pixie bard.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Rook, who is a changeling artificer armorer.
And today, I was going to give you a brief introduction. We also have a special guest joining us for, a little while. We'll see. I don't exactly know how many episodes, but starting tonight, we also have
Will. Hi, I'm Will. I'm playing Hakan, and I'm sure you guys will meet him very soon.
And so without any further ado, we'll get into those announcements and then the recap, and then we'll just start playing. So the announcements, we premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items as well as a custom pixie lineage. So be aware of that as you're watching. The character portraits, which you'll see all over the layout, were drawn by an artist named Krista Porter, who goes by @KristaPorter with 2 R's on Twitter. If you need a refresher on anything that's going on in this campaign, we have a campaign wiki at World Anvil. We also just put out a recap video that talks about everything that happened in Season 1, so that's another good way to get caught up. Other than that, you can check the video description for links and information to everything I just mentioned and more, including some links to Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate resources. Lastly, you can follow us on Twitter at AntiheroesAnon, and we just hope you enjoy the show, share with your friends, and come back to watch some more. And so, before I do the recap, let's go ahead and roll our intro video. And welcome back. Previously on Antiheroes Anonymous, the Silver Seekers are headed north on the road to Amberhearth, joined by a pair of friends on their way to their newly acquired keep. Along the way, Tuppence had a disquieting dream about a mirror version of herself at work on something called the Concerto of Cleaving, while Elwyn and Rook had an encounter in the woods with the masked lady, that led to Elwyn claiming a magical staff from an old statue. The weather, however, has turned steadily chillier until finally a blizzard forced the Seekers off the roads and into the shelter of the Broken Axe Tavern, just west of a settlement called Twin Towns. And that is where we're going to pick up tonight's episode. But before the Silver Seekers have a chance to enter the tavern, we're going to see what it looks like on the inside for a brief moment. There is a fire lit in a warm, casting a warm glow around this mostly wooden room. As far as taverns go, it's not terribly large, but it's also not terribly small. A little bit run down, but, it's functional. There are a variety of different tables scattered about the place, some of them longer for sitting bigger groups of people, and some of them smaller, some round, some more rectangular. And there aren't a huge amount of patrons within the bar, but there are a number of sort of unsavory looking traveler types who have also taken shelter from the blizzard and the foul weather that has been raging around Twin Towns for quite some time, actually. A number of these patrons have sort of taken to living within the inn for the time being because they're waiting for the weather to calm down before they head out. The whole place is managed and operated by a single individual who is sort of busy bustling about. As we open up the scene, Will, what would Hakan be doing in the tavern?
Sure. I'll just paint the scene that what I see in my head.
Yeah, and also if you wanted to give like an introduction of what he looks like and things like that.
Sure. Would everyone be inside at this point?
Not quite yet, no. The
Okay.
party hasn't quite entered. So you're just kind of bustling around, dealing with the patrons who have, most of which have been staying there for a while because of the terrible weather around Twin Towns has kind of made it difficult to travel past it
Right.
in recent times.
Okay. Well, Hakan Anvilheart is a halfling cleric. He's very, very old. He's probably well over 100 years old. White
Mhm.
hair. He's about average height, like 3 foot, 3.5. And the special he has, he always wears his armor as well, which is like a medium armor, heavy armor, I believe. And it has, you can see battle scars, and he probably has a few scars on his face and body. And another notable thing about him is that he always has a giant maul that he carries with him as like a walking stick. But the maul is about 2 times bigger than him, and it has some engravings on it. It seems pretty special to him. And as for what he's doing, he's running the whole entire business. He's walking around, giving drinks to people, feeding them, housing them, getting all the rent and paid stuff for. But he's a pretty busy individual.
Yeah, and it's around that moment that a group of travelers, weary from being on the road in this harsh winter weather, comes barging through the front door of the tavern, having just basically hitched their horses and wagon up to sort of the stable area outside the tavern. And with the group of you each give sort of a quick description of your characters so that Will can know who he sees come walking in the door.
Flying, Tuppy.
Yeah, or flying
Little-
in Tuppence'
Little
case.
pixie. But I think she's really tired, so she's just gonna kind of hover and kind of, it's very sporadic, her motion, because she's tired.
Okay, I'll go.
Um,
Oh, go ahead,
okay.
Nick. Uh-oh. All right, I'll do it. That was a good description, by the way, Will. So my character, his name is Rook. He is a half-elf, blonde hair. He's wearing nice clothes. Don't you shake your head. Is he though? You can see that every single finger on his hands has rings on him. They're all different. And he has a small, I guess he wouldn't have him out actually. He doesn't have that. Let's see. Yeah, and then he just kind of carrying a satchel on his over his shoulder. I think that's all he has out right now. And he's very cold. He hates the cold, and he's like shivering.
I think then also is Embers of White Ash, the just like this white furred cat lady, very tall. I think something like, what do we say, like 6'8" or something. Wearing a like has very very thick white fur and a very long bubble ponytail. And wearing just kind of this like really ratty tattered tunic that's been patched and mended many times.
And then, yeah, little elf girl, woman who is not tall at all. She's like 5'4", I think. Slate gray skin, kind of pearlescent white hair that's up kind of in an updo with like lots of pieces falling out because it's just, that kind of day. And she's got a big fur lined kind of winter cloak with a little like sprig of mistletoe woven into some of the fur. And she has 2 different colored eyes. Her right eye is ice blue and her left eye is gold. And she has this kind of really like pretty circlet that she wears that looks like it's made out of ice. And she's also carrying a staff made of white birch with another big chunk of that like ice looking crystal in the top.
And the group of you walk in and you see the scene that was described earlier. So you see kind of this one beleaguered halfling running basically the entire tavern, the entire group of individuals who are here who look pretty kind of like they're rough and tumble individuals for the most part. This tavern is not the same sort of tavern that the Mill House was back in Port Horizon Shroud. It's more like something that Embers would have frequented before. One thing that you notice about the halfling man who seems to be running the establishment is that the armor that he's wearing, which is interesting that he's wearing armor, but the armor that he's wearing is definitely probably like an older style of Imperial Army armor. So he looks like he at least at one point was probably in the army.
Would that be obvious to people like me who are not from the Empire?
I think you've
Or
been in the
Tuppence?
Empire. I think both of you have been around long enough at this point, and you've had enough experience in Port Horizon Shroud that everyone here
Okay.
would sort of recognize that.
Is
It
there,
maybe not quite match the style of the current Imperial Army's uniforms, but it definitely has the same hallmarks of it.
is there any kind of like tablet or anything over the armor?
That would signify what sort of thing?
I guess
What are you
just
curious about?
yeah, just like because I know that you're playing a cleric. I wonder if you have any like visible holy symbols or anything, either etched into the armor or like on a tabard worn over it or what.
I think he would probably have like a necklace or something that maybe like goes over his chest. But that's probably about it.
What I recognize is the holy symbol.
Why don't you make a religion check?
Sure. Not one. Like a 6 or something.
No, it's an interesting symbol. It's and you might not even recognize it as a holy symbol because it could just be like a very cool looking pendant. It's kind of like a circular shape with a cross going up and down that then has diagonal lightning bolts coming out of the center in sort of the northeast, southeast, those sort of in between directions.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you don't recognize it, but he does have this sort of necklace around his neck. Oh,
Also,
I assume Will, it was for his current deity, right? Not his old one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
also wanted to mention that we're accompanied by a 5th person.
This is true. I should have described the final 2 individuals who come in with this group. There is a big, bulky, not quite as tall as Embers, but maybe not far off from there. Dragonborn man, so it's pretty much like a humanoid, but with very draconic features, with white scales, and he comes in. He's also well armored, but he, and then kind of on his shoulder he has this sort of green and cream color scaled tiny drake that sort of surveys the room as everyone comes in. And you can see sort of a gleam of intelligence in this drake's eyes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this big group comes walking into your tavern.
I would probably be busy with some of the patrons. but I would obviously just like gesture everyone to come in, get out of the cold, take a seat.
Yeah,
I'll help you in
Thanks.
a
We can
minute.
just.
You know.
Thank you. We'll just grab a table. Thanks. Don't mind us.
Yeah, and he'll hobble back
find us.
behind the bar. And
Just find us, Elwyn.
He's super busy. Give him a minute. All right. We've got the alchemy jug to hold us off until then.
Is that
There's a
allowed
nice-
in here? Okay.
There's a nice long table that's not, terribly far away from the fire. That would probably be pretty warm.
That would be great.
Tuppence
Like,
goes
that's
over to
probably
Rook with her little bitty cup. Come on then, hurry up. He's busy. Hurry up.
All right. Jiggle you can hear it sloshing inside, and then pour out some of the alchemy jug.
Are you trying to hide it?
Yeah.
That you're pouring outside liquor in this
Yeah.
guy's tavern? Okay. Roll a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Let's see what Hakon's passive perception is.
Here we go. Whoops.
Sorry,
Let's
how do you
see.
spell his name?
HAKKON.
I got a dirty 20.
Or she
Looks
did.
like Hakon's passive perception is 15. So Hakon, you're a little busy. You don't actually notice that one of these people begins pouring out of this large jug and into the pixie's tiny cup.
Okay.
It's either you don't know or
That's-
you don't know what it is enough to
Cipher what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
I
first
think I would-
impression.
I think I would just be. I probably wouldn't care a whole lot. It's probably okay, even if I saw something like that would happen, I'd be like, I'd brush it off. But I guess like a couple minutes later, you'd see behind the bar. The bar is about like 4 feet tall, so Hakon's not tall enough. But you see the warhammer
That's great.
go behind it.
Oh my god.
As it you can hear like tiny little footsteps and a big pound of the maul. And he comes with a platter of probably like a couple loaves of bread, maybe a couple drinks of water, or like some hot ciders or something.
I like
And,
the idea.
Thank you. That looks lovely.
Yeah, and he'll bring it to you guys and just place it on the table and go back to his business because
I
he's
like-
pretty busy.
I like the idea of the pitter patter and thud.
Yeah. And then he'll hobble back behind and go back into the kitchen, and you can hear clitter and clatter of like pots and pans.
Wow.
I think Empress is going to take a seat close to the fire so that she can dry off her wet fur, which is terrible.
I wonder what kind of soup is here. Some super.
Look at that face.
So we're having internet troubles with Tuppence tonight, looks like.
Yeah. Here, internet's cold too.
really,
Like we
really
are.
good, guys.
Oh,
It's
she's
the wind.
back.
It's the wind. We have a windstorm.
That's okay. We'll bear through it.
Sorry.
Pork stew does sound really, really good. Something that like that looks like it would be easy to feed this number of people too. I'm sure he's got something back there.
Torin has stuffed a whole mouth full of bread into his mouth, just like one of the whole loaves. And in between mouths, he says, "Oh, yeah, soup would be really good. Yeah, we should try and get some of that. Can we flag down the waiter?"
I think that you would have the best chance of getting his attention out of any of us here, Torin. Why don't you do that?
You know what?
Uh,
Tuppence is gonna fly back and follow him into the kitchen and see what's back there.
Are you trying to be sneaky?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll just go help.
So this pixie that's like probably less than a foot tall, maybe just about a foot tall, comes flying into the kitchen.
And says, "Hi. Do you need some help? I see that you're super busy."
no, it's okay. Just go back outside or go back in the bar area and just relax. I got it taken care of. As he's moving like what seems like 2 miles per hour, but he's His hands are going everywhere and grabbing all these pots and pans, flipping them over, putting them on different stove tops, pouring
Okay.
out cans into pots and pans.
Meanwhile, Tuppy's gonna take a quick glance over what's on the stove so that she can report to the group then. And she leaves. She won't steal anything or anything,
Okay.
This time.
right?
Oh no.
So what does she see cooking? What's cooking at the moment?
It
Uh,
all smells so good, guys.
I would probably say some like maybe like a hearty stew.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Maybe a nice hearty stew in a giant pot. He'd probably have been transporting it out to the other patrons pretty frequently, but just keeping it on low. Simmer it.
Well, while you're back there and sort of messing with the stew, after Tuppence leaves, you hear a voice in your head that is very familiar to you, and you recognize the voice of Bardrin, and she says, "Well, this new group that just came in seems pretty lively, very very interesting. When you say they're very different from the rest of the groups in the tavern."
Oh yeah, they're much different. These guys are a little bit louder, a little bit more outgoing.
Especially that white dragonborn. He seemed to have a very loud voice, don't you think?
Yeah, I heard him. I heard him eat a whole entire loaf of bread in one bite. I was very impressed.
Yeah, well, that sure was something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be nice to talk to them, get some company. We don't get many, I suppose, traveler types who seem experienced as them. Most people, who come through here are not very talkative.
True, it's true. And this is a big group too. Usually get 2 people at a time, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe I'll go liven it up or bring him some stew or something. And I
Yeah,
will do that.
She kind of falls back into the comfortable silence that the two of you share most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Khan will have his new platter, have 6 bowls of stew. And he will, you see the war mall above the bar. And he will come place down the plates or the stew for you guys, and then you guys are sitting next to the fire, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I'll cast thaumaturgy on the fire to make it brighter and make it seem warmer, even though it's not really.
Oh, a neat trick.
Thank you. Practice that one.
Sorry, I don't know if I caught your name.
Name's Hakan.
Hakan. It's nice to meet you. This is a nice establishment you're running.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I've been here for so many years, and it's very nice to see a big group of travelers like yourself.
Oh, well, we're happy to be here. Happy to get out of the storm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Stay as long as
I'm
you'd
so
like.
sorry. Let me introduce us. My name is Lady Alen'dal, heir to House Amalos, Minister to the Old Faith and Shepherd of the Tundra. But you can call me Elwyn.
None of those titles mean anything to you, by the way. Well,
Great, yeah.
And we are the Silver Seekers. This is Rook and Embers, and I think you met Tuppence, pointing to the pixie, and Torin Brenworm, and that's Malt
Hello.
on his shoulder over there.
The little drake on the shoulder kind of leans over and says, "Would you mind terribly if I sat in the rafters of the bar?"
Go for it. Yeah, help yourself.
Okay. It takes to flight, and when it flies, you can see that this drake is rather rotund, very well fed, and it flies up to the rafters of the bar, basically sitting above one of the other groups of patrons that are in the establishment at the moment, and you can see that it just sort of kind of leans over the rafter and begins listening to their conversation.
Oh no. Okay. I guess I would first be surprised that he's talking to me. Is that normal for these drakes?
Not all drakes. There's lots of different drakes that are common throughout the empire. Not all of them can talk. this one clearly can. If you want to roll like an Arcana check or a Nature check, we could see if you know what sort of drake it is.
Sure. Arcana and nature are both the same. I got a 17.
Oh, okay. Then yeah. Especially in your line of work, this is a type of drake that I think would be well known to you, even if you may never have seen or encountered one. It's an alehouse drake. They, as the name implies, they like to take up residence in alehouses. Some of them kind of get jobs working as sort of like bouncers and like helping to keep, tavern fights from breaking out or things like that. Other times they just sort of become like a mascot for an establishment. But they do also, have a tendency, many of them, to sort of have an interest in rumors and hearsay and, gathering information and things like that. So what it's doing now in the rafters totally makes sense.
Okay. Okay, I'd probably be fine with it then. Yeah.
Your soup is it's very filling.
Thank you. I made it myself.
Embers just nods.
Yeah. Okay.
So good.
He double takes into all the patrons, make sure everyone's happy. No one new has come in, and he's asks, "May I sit with you guys just for a minute?"
Oh, of course. The more the merrier.
He'll slowly crouch into a chair, put all his weight on his warhammer as he sits down.
So how long have you been running this place? Seems like a lot of work for one person.
It pays the bills, It is a lot of work. I've been here for as long as I can remember. It's been too many years. I can't remember the exact one or how long I've actually been here. But I wouldn't run it any other way.
Can you tell us anything about the area? This is our first time in Twin Towns.
Gosh, Ethan, help.
Yeah, I can help you out. Imagine
Sorry,
this
Will.
sort of information coming from Will's mouth. The things that Hakan would know about Twin Towns, you yourself don't actually spend much time or any time really in the towns themselves, but you know of them. One of them, the one by the lake, is called Rhymestrand, and it's a dwarven population that inhabits that town for the most part. And the other one that is situated by the forest on the other side of the valley is known as Glimmercairn, and it's a gnomish population for the most part. And usually on a typical night, you'd have patrons coming into the tavern from both of those towns and kind of intermingling a little bit, though the towns, like on a good day, don't get along terribly well. They're civil most of the time. However, for probably about the last month or so, you haven't really seen patrons from either town coming into the tavern. So you haven't really had much news or contact from either of the places. However, you do know that even beyond the fact that patrons haven't been coming recently, from the tavern at night, you've heard the sounds drifting across the valley of some sort of strange happening going on in both towns, though you don't really know what's going on there. So how much of that you share is up to you.
I'd probably say about like the history and the lore of this area, but I don't think I would mention the screams at night and whatnot. I think that's a little bit too much information since we just met.
Yeah.
And we might want to stay here.
Welcome
and
to
nobody-
our town. There are screams at night.
It's haunted.
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it though.
Yeah, it's okay.
How long has this blizzard been going on? We're hoping to move on soon.
The blizzard itself, let me check my notes.
I think maybe you mentioned to me at one point.
I might have. Let's see. about a month ago, the bad weather started. And it's really odd because it should be getting on towards summer. So the winter, the snowy weather should be pretty much gone by now, even though the place where you live is one of the colder climes of the Empire. But about a month ago, this like bad winter weather kicked back up. It's not always a blizzard, but there have been a lot of blizzards during that period.
So to clarify, Ethan, we on our travels north, we kind of entered the storm. It wasn't just like a storm happened. We kind of entered this area
Exactly.
of bad weather. Okay.
From your perspective, it would have seemed like it just kind of kicked up, but it's really that you kind of drove into it.
Interesting. Okay.
Do you have any spare rooms?
Oh yeah, I got a few upstairs.
How much is it?
What's the currency? Is it normal?
Well, so that's a good question. I guess I would ask you, what sort of quality is this in? Would you say it's sort of squalid, poor, modest, comfortable, wealthy, aristocratic? I'd say probably one of those first three,
Yeah,
maybe up to
it's
comfortable.
probably like poor. It wouldn't be the nicest place that you've ever seen, but it'd be
Okay.
something.
Then yeah, probably like 1 silver piece per person.
Per night?
Yep.
Okay. So,
That seems fair.
yeah. We can afford that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Oh, a real bed.
Yeah, you see the guy with lots of rings on his fingers say, "We can afford that."
Hides the rings. No. Yeah. So yeah, he'll reach into his coin pouch and pull out, I guess. So how long do we think the blizzard's gonna last? I don't know if I heard that. Or was that
He doesn't
answered?
know.
It hasn't
we don't know.
been it hasn't been
okay.
seemed to be letting up. It's been pretty
You
drastic.
can start with just a night and then play it by ear. If we
Sure.
need to stay a few more nights, we can pay again tomorrow.
Okay. So Rook will hand you. Does the Drake need to pay? I mean, just 6 silvers just to
Don't be stingy, Brooke.
7.
6 is good.
Yeah, 6.
Do I see these rings on Rook's
Yeah.
hands?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're very prominently displayed.
Yeah.
Rook, can you also make me an Arcana or History check?
Yeah. Arcana or History.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 24.
Oh boy. It's only after you've kind of sat with this person and actually kind of gotten a good look at the maul that he's toting around that you notice something about it.
Oh boy.
It's not familiar to you. You don't recognize it from like firsthand experience. But you have a memory of seeing documents or papers describing a weapon of similar make and design, described as being at one point part of Vogma's royal hoard of treasure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do I know, is it have a name or is it like
What did you roll again? 24?
24?
The mall, if it's the one you know about, was called Traugrim.
Traugrim? Okay. And then let's see. Is it in the Empire's history, is it seen as like a proud memory to have these treasures sort of shared? Is that something that's like common knowledge?
Not necessarily, no. Nope.
Okay, then I guess I won't bring it up.
And it's around that time that the door to the tavern bursts open again for the second time. And a group of 4 individuals come walking in. One of them has kind of like greasy shoulder length black hair, looks to be either human or maybe like a half elf. And he has also kind of like this black thin mustache that goes over his lip. And he seems to be kind of in the lead. All of these figures are covered in snow. The three behind him seem to be a female dwarf who herself has a little bit of kind of facial hair stubble. Looks like to be like an orcish looking man and a fire genasi. And each of them definitely has the same sort of like rough and tumble look of the other patrons in the tavern. And they come in and they kind of do this sweeping look around the tavern, and one of their eyes finally alight on the group of youths sitting at the table. And the man with the sort of greasy shoulder-length black hair in the lead turns back to his group of friends and says, "Well, well, well, looky what we have here. If it isn't just the man we're looking for." And his eyes are firmly set on Rook. And he says,
Shoot. Oh, crap.
It looks like they then start looking around for the proprietor of the tavern. So I don't know if Hakan sort of stands up or...
He would, but he's very short, so it's not
He actually-
very
He
intimidating.
actually gets lower.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When he
I lose
stands
like
up.
6 inches.
Yeah.
Well, I take it you're the proprietor of this here establishment.
I am. What business do you have here?
Well, I hate to break it to you, but one of these fine guests of yours is, in fact, a fugitive, and we are going to be collecting a bounty on this one's head. So I'd thank you kindly to allow us, access to your tavern.
Embers gets up
Rook also gets up.
and like slams
yeah,
himself
I'm
against the
also
wall.
up.
Are you
I
guys
get
like,
up and I
arming
stand in
yourself?
front of. I get up and I'm just standing in front of Rook immediately, just automatically, holding the staff.
You can see that other patrons around the tavern, at the word of bounty, their ears begin to perk up as well, and you can hear kind of whispers around the tavern. Bounty? I wonder how much. Who is it? How much are they worth? And the person in the lead kind of strides forward towards Rook and says, "Now, Prince O, if you want to be so kindly and save us the trouble, you can
I
just come
cast
right
hold
with us."
person on him
All right. I will make a save. What
before
is
he
it,
gets
wisdom?
a chance to get close enough. I cast it.
Yeah, he gets within like 10 feet, I think. And
I'm
then you
standing in
cast
front
your
of him.
spell.
Yeah. Wisdom DC 15.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh, I rolled a 19 on the dice. Let me see if he has a minus to this, though.
Fuck.
Not a nice 5.
No, it's a flat bonus. He has a 0, but he makes it.
Fuck.
And let's roll initiative.
All right.
I'll
Sure, why
drag
not?
you over to the map on roll 20.
Oh boy. Oh boy. First combat of season 2. I'm shaking.
I will. Oh, it's very close.
Initiative is Dex, right?
Yes. Mhm.
It also can have its
you
own
should-
modifiers.
You should all be able to
Very
see the
rarely.
tavern. I actually forgot
I
to
see it.
build a fireplace into it, but just imagine there is one
Sure.
Alright,
somewhere
let me
in there.
move us over on the thingy. Boop. Okay, cool.
And I'll reposition Hakan as well, since he should probably be over here.
Oh boy.
Can I try to like parlay with them? Say
Yeah.
like
The way that initiative works is, everyone kind of gets a turn, but you don't have to use
Right.
that turn for combat. So if you want to like try and make a persuasion check or an intimidation check or something like that, you can also use your turn for that.
Okay.
Hold on. I did all the token setup on the splash page, but I didn't do it over here. So I think you should have control of your token now. There we go. And I think I got everyone. Is everyone's health bars visible and all of that?
Yep.
Okay, sweet.
I can't see Rooks.
Darn it.
I can see it, but
Well,
I can't
because he's
see
your
it.
character.
right. I'm just saying it's
There,
but
now we
yeah,
can
okay.
see it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there he goes.
Cool. And I can show you guys this greasy-haired man.
What a
So-
douchebag.
So greasy.
So greasy.
Okay, let's get those initiatives. Let's start with Will. Guest goes first. How
I
did
got
Hakan do?
15.
15, okay. And Embers?
22.
22. Elwyn?
19.
19. Tuppence?
11.
11. And Rook?
14.
14. I will auto roll for all of the NPCs. Oh, shoot. Oh, perfect. Okay, sweet. Did it. So it looks like Embers is the first to act. So if you want to, you guys can take a second to sort of rearrange yourselves how you would imagine you'd be as this scene is starting.
Okay.
Embers, I know you said you kind of backed up against one of the walls.
Yeah, I was wondering if like maybe the fireplace is like here ish. No, that's the stairs. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe over here,
Where are you pinging?
To the
Oh,
bottom
yeah.
right.
further
Oh, I
south.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense if we're at like around this table or something. So yeah, my back was up against the wall, so I was here ish.
Do you want us to move over to the other table then? Kind of shift over
Sure.
a little bit.
Maybe that
Alright.
makes sense. Yep.
But also be close to the fire.
Can I make an insight check to see if the
If you know
people are-
sort of who he's going for.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
at first I thought that they might be going for me.
Sure. Yeah. Make that roll.
Is Soul out or did you put Soul away?
He's not out yet.
Okay.
Another natural one.
Another natural one. Okay. Yeah. I
no,
mean,
Nick!
This is last
Uh,
session all over again.
it is weird. He said Prince O, but I mean, like this guy.
I think I'm
seems,
thinking I'm just too panicked
Yeah, you're panicked at the
to
moment.
really
so.
understand. All right. Was that my action?
No.
Okay. Let's see. 1, 2. Hang on. Get the ruler out. Yeah, I can make it out the door.
Are you just going to dart out the door?
Ember's like books it.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
I was going to reveal the outside, but it's really just snow, so there's no
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah.
Okay, Embers books it out the door. Let's see who's up next. Okay, so you can see that the patrons of the tavern have begun to get riled up as they see this is all going down, and some of them, like one of them, shouts up, "If there's gonna be a bounty claimed, I want in!" And basically like stands up with a bottle in hand, just very drunkenly, and a bar brawl begins to form as they begin
Amazing.
to like fight amongst each
damn it.
other.
I am so sorry.
And so this bar brawl is actually, it's fortunately for you, it's very slow moving. So for the foreseeable time, they're kind of fighting amongst themselves, but it does begin to sort of drift in your direction since they know that you are the ones who this is about.
Oh, is that what that token is? That's a brawl.
Yeah, this is just
It's a
a
bar brawl.
mass of
Oh.
people.
Oh
Yep.
my
thought that was
gosh,
the
amazing.
fire.
I thought that was a fire too.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm so happy you're using this.
They make it up to Torin. And
That's
basically you can
right.
see someone picks up a bar stool and like starts to swing it in Torin's direction. Are you the one they're after? Like tries to hit Torin with a bar stool.
I yell and say, "Not the stool!"
The stool slams against Torin's armor and just slides off, going scattering across the floor. And then someone basically like breaks a bottle on the table and says, "I'll get him," and tries again. And misses again. The broken bottle just shatters against Torin's armor. Because he is rather well armored. Okay, and then it is Elwyn's turn.
Fuck. Okay. Shit. Fuck. Shit. Okay. This feels like a terrible idea. Everything feels like a terrible. I'm sorry. I'm very indecisive and I'm trying to decide between a few different things. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Entangle.
Okay.
Mm.
So it's a 20-foot square, which means
It's pretty big.
All of them.
I think I can, draw like a square here and get all of them. And it's, so basically Elwyn will just like throw her hands out, seeing that the hold person didn't work. She will redirect the snow flurries down to the ground. The ground kind of shoots up with ice to try and freeze their feet, and like wrap around kind of their legs and ankles and stuff. So they need to make a strength saving throw.
They're not awful at these, but they're not great either. Okay, first thug rolls a 4.
Cool. He's restrained.
Second thug rolls a 10.
Restrained.
Third thug rolls a 15.
That is what they needed.
And the captain here rolls different bonus. Also a 15.
Damn it. That's what they needed.
Ah,
That's
Dang
what
it.
they needed.
So I will restrain 2 of these thugs. Do you have any preference on which ones?
Probably the ones closest to the door.
Okay. We will restrain them with this sign.
And my
Okay.
my instinct, even though we've been playing campaign 2 for almost a whole year now, my instinct is still like, okay, I got to roll for wild magic. That's not a thing that's happening on this campaign.
Nope.
That
Wild
happened.
magic.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Tuppy is wild magic.
She is. It's true.
Yeah, she really is.
Anything else
Yeah.
for
So
Elwyn?
I'm as I do this, gonna kind of turn over my shoulder and just say to Rook, get out of here. Get out of here. Run. We'll hold them off.
All right. Shoot.
Okay. Then next up, before we get to Hakan, I'm sorry, you're just watching things happen in your tavern. The
I hate
thugs get
this.
their turn.
It's the worst.
One of the thugs, does it like become difficult terrain or anything like that, even if they succeed, or are they just free?
Yes, it's difficult terrain within that square, and the two
Okay.
that failed can, I think, use their action to re-throw or to make a strength check against the spell save
Gotcha.
DC.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. One of them comes up to Rook and will make a, it gets 2 attacks.
Oh boy.
One of them's a natural 1, so that misses. But basically, 2 with its scimitar and 1 with its dagger. Holy cow.
Jesus Christ.
That can't be right.
Ah!
I'm just gonna do the 2 for the scimitar and ignore the dagger. So that's a 17 to hit on the one that's not a natural 1.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. So then you would take 6 points of slashing damage as this thug comes up and slashes into you and says, "Right, okay, guess we're gonna do this the hard way." And then the other 2, I guess, will use their action to try and get out of this because otherwise they're stuck. One of them rolls a 13. The other
That's a
one
fail.
rolls a 17 and gets free.
That's a succeed. That's a succeed.
A succeed.
Succeeds. And the one who gets free will move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
That was difficult terrain to get out of there, though.
Right. Did I not do that?
I think you said 5, 10 and just moved
5,
right
10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
out. Okay.
So you can get there. And we'll throw a dagger at Rook. Oh, no wonder it was the wrong amount of attacks. I was looking at the... Okay, I was right. It is 2 for the thugs. And it's not scimitars, it's a mace. So you can actually have 1 point of health back because it would have only been 5 bludgeoning
It's
damage.
a very healthy mace.
I was looking at the captain. That's my bad.
Okay.
The bandit will not throw a dagger, will shoot a heavy crossbow
Oh
at
shoot.
Rook at advantage because of an ally nearby.
Oh crap. Okay.
But it's only a 13 to hit.
Miss.
So that goes thudding into the wall. And I think that makes it. Oh, the one who is restrained can make a crossbow attack. Let's see.
Do they have disadvantage when they're restrained, or is it just that people
They would
attacking-
if they're restrained. So,
Yeah.
so it'll
My
cancel
spell
out
did
the.
something.
It'll cancel
Good
out the
job.
advantage. It's only a 10, so that's a miss. Another crossbow bolt goes thudding into
Alright.
the wall. And finally, it's Hakon's turn.
Okay. I'm pretty torn up about this.
I mean, I'm the
Um,
first one to do damage to your establishment. I apologize.
I don't know what side I should be on when I don't know your team or these bandits or whatever.
We are paying customers.
That's
They have
true.
extremely greasy hair.
That's a good point too.
And they came in and started a brawl fight or a bar fight.
They
I
sure did.
think I would be more concerned about the brawl fight rather than what your business is.
Okay.
So my
That's fair.
first initial thought would be to run towards the brawl. So I have what, a movement of 25. So that's what, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25?
Mhm.
And then I'm going to try to disperse the crowd. My initial thought was use Thunder Wave, but then I don't want to destroy everything. So I'm gonna cast Gust of Wind on
Okay.
the group of the bar fight people.
Let's take a look at Gust of Wind.
It's a line of strong wind, 60 feet long and 10 feet wide. Lasts from you in a direction you choose for the spell's duration. Each creature that starts in its turn in the line must succeed on a strength saving
Oh, no.
throw, or be pushed away 15 feet away.
Okay. I will make this save for the bar brawl then. You said a strength save?
Yeah.
It fails. So basically the entire group of people gets pushed back 15 feet as this massive gust of wind comes, emerges from your spell. Does it like come from the Warhammer? What does it look like?
I would assume that he would just take his maul and just smash it on the ground and just a giant wave. Yeah.
Do you also like shout anything as you cast your spell?
I'd probably just yell stop.
Do you want to make an intimidation check as well?
Sure. My intimidation's not very good. That's a 15.
Okay, so it looks like they don't show any signs of stopping right away, but some of them are definitely bewildered by this gust of wind, as they're basically like thrown back over tables and stuff. Is there any damage associated with it, or are they just pushed?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they're just pushed.
Oh, and also like all the candles and torches on the tables go out. Just,
So it gets a little
On.
bit darker in here.
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and deal them just a few points of damage as they're basically like knocked back over tables and things like that. Just for
Yeah.
narrative purposes.
Like the patients aren't hurt, but the fight is hurt.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on your turn?
No, I think I'm good.
Then it is Rook's turn.
Great. I'll use my action to don my armor. So I'll drop this armor, this like basically this metal, fancy looking metal plate thing on the ground and step into it and kind of like Iron Man style. It just kind of like forms around me.
Cool.
So I have that on now, so I feel much better. And I don't. Is it a? Could it be like? What kind of action would it be to have Soul, like, to like have just like throw him out of my jacket and have him fly around?
Reaction.
Okay. Does he act on my turn?
I think he acts technically immediately after your turn.
So I'll do that, and then I don't know if I'm gonna run away.
Yeah, so Will, for your benefit, he steps in onto this like metal plate, which then forms a whole suit of this like black shiny armor around him. And then he tosses a pocket watch into the air where it begins to hover on a propeller,
Yes.
and it sort of extends arms and legs of its own.
That's pretty neat.
Can help, Brooke. Don't do anything reckless.
Just imagine what all these rings can do too. No, let's see. So what else can I do? I have a bonus action. Crap. Okay, so I'm gonna tell Soul to go fly and bring Embers back. And
You should have control of Soul if you want to move him.
I will, but I'm thinking, so the entrances are covered with this, I almost called it frigid woe, this frozen square, this,
Yeah, but he can fly over that.
but I
No
can't.
problem.
Yeah,
That's
it's difficult. It's just difficult terrain for you. It's not going to restrain you or anything. It's not like the spike growth spell.
Okay. I don't, can I get out of the tavern? Let's see.
Yeah, you could.
I could?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5.
Yeah.
6,
Okay. So yeah, let's leave the tavern so we don't damage it anymore. And I will. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I'm also gonna run out and shout out for Embers. And Soul's
You
coming
like
with
you
me.
like pass her. I don't. You can.
I'm just like
barely
right
see-
outside the door.
You can see the tip of her health bar right there, but you pass
Okay.
her.
I think we're on the same square then. Maybe I should
Yeah,
move my
yeah, yeah.
guys. Yeah. Okay.
Let me just go ahead and reveal the outside to you guys.
Okay.
Even though it's not very impressive.
I
Even
think
if it's
that's
just
pretty
white,
well.
it's very accurate.
Hold
Yep.
on,
There it
that's-
is.
Sorry. I was trying not to reveal the outside area. There you go.
Okay. So Soul's gonna fly here. I'm gonna be like right here, I guess. Yeah, and I'll get there and I'll just say, Embers, they're not after you.
What? Oh, are they after you?
Yes,
Well, leave then. I'll take care of this.
I'm trying. Okay. So,
However, I just realized you guys have gone out a window.
oh, did we? I mean, is that okay?
Yeah, the door is over here.
It's a
I should've-
little, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I just realized. I mean, I assumed embers can make
I th-
any distance.
I
It's
think-
fine.
I think it's funnier if Ember just dived out the window.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
funnier
so-
too. She just went head first and shattered the glass. And
Shattered
then Brooke's
glass.
like,
Yeah, that's
"Oop."
fine.
And then, yeah, he'll just tumble out afterwards and then then tell her that.
That's fantastic. Okay.
More damage to the tavern. Whoops.
Do you want me to make a dexterity saving throw here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's like a.
Hakon's poor window.
Support everything.
I think that's a 19.
Yeah, you make it out. You manage to tumble such that you don't get scratched by any of the glass. You're good.
Cool.
Okay. Anything else for Rook?
I don't have anything else I can do.
Then it's Tuppence.
I guess
Well,
Soul will take the dodge action.
Okay.
That's about it.
So Will, I don't know if you heard. I realized that
Sorry.
embers actually went out a window instead of the door, and so one of your windows is now shattered. But there's that.
I'm not liking these travelers breaking everything.
Anyways, Tuppence, it's your turn.
Okay, so Rook leaving changes what I was gonna do. So I think instead I will cast suggestion on the leader.
Oh, interesting. Okay. What's your suggestion?
So I'm going to say, I think it's time that you take your group and leave. This is not the Padawan you're looking for.
And it's a wisdom save, right?
It is. Do-do-do-do-do. Yep.
Okay. He fails.
Yay!
And so you can as you say that, his eyes kind of glaze over and he looks to his allies and says, well, you know what, fellas? Our quarry just went out the window. I think it is time we left.
Uh-oh. I didn't phrase it right.
Your suggestion being, I think it's time you leave.
Well, at least the bar won't get busted up more. But I said it's not the guy he's looking for.
That's true. That's true. We'll see how that plays out. Anything else on your turn?
I think that's it for now.
Okay. Then it is the leader's turn, and he's currently mired down in this this icy terrain, but will begin to leave per your suggestion. 5, 10, 15, 20. Whoops, no. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And basically comes striding out of the tavern. So you Rook, you see the leader come out, but he used his whole action to get out there. So we'll see what happens next. Torin, Hakan, this white dragonborn, basically pulls out a shield, runs up to the bar brawl, and basically begins trying to get them to cease and desist, basically like imposing the shield in between, grabbing a stool and knocking a couple of them out when he can. So I will roll some attacks.
Okay.
Let's see. Bar Brawl's AC is 12. So both of those hit.
I love how it's an actual like enemy.
Yep.
That's so good.
So let's see. I'm going to do 18 points of damage to the Bar Brawl. As Torin basically starts trying to knock them unconscious.
Great.
And he kind of shouts back to you in a really loud voice, "Don't worry, I've got this. I've put down a bar brawl or two in my day."
Is Torin still wearing like also Warden's
No,
insignia? Okay.
he had to return his
Okay.
warden's uniform. So he's just wearing regular armor now.
Okay. I thought maybe there'd be like some point of connection between Hakan and Torin.
Nope. Embers, it's your turn again.
Nice.
You've seen this bandit come running out.
Yeah, and now I know what's going on, sort of. So I'm gonna run up and start wailing on this bandit captain. So I'm gonna spend a key point, make 3 attacks. Oh, bad. They're terrible. Why am I rolling so bad? I got a 9, a 10, and the 23 probably hits.
The 23 will. Neither of the other two will.
Terrible. Okay, so that is going to be 8 bludgeoning damage.
I'm trying to see if taking damage messes with suggestion at all.
Oh, it might, but I don't think I knew that he was suggested.
Actually, I don't think it does.
Oh, interesting. Nope, if you or
do
any of your
something
companions
obviously
damage the target, the
harmful.
spell ends.
Oh, there it
Mhm.
is.
So,
So yeah, he is released from the suggestion, but you got him to leave the room and waste a turn. So that's something.
He was probably going to do that anyway. Oh well.
Anything else for Embers?
nope.
Okay. As you punch this guy, basically the glaze over his eyes clears and he says, "Well, if you're going to stand in the way of me and my quarry, then I guess you go first." The Bar Brawl goes next. At the start of its turn, I think it has to make a new save against the gust of wind. So I'll do that.
Yep.
It's another failure. So it's pushed back 15 more feet. And would you also make another intimidation check?
Sure. 2.
2. Yeah, so another couple of them go tumbling backwards, but it doesn't look like this turn they've been deterred anymore.
I'm imagining you're like, you shall not brawl.
That's what my thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent.
amazing.
Let's see. The blast is 10 feet wide, so they will kind of get out of the blast of wind and go back towards Torin. So I'm going to make one attack with a bar stool against Torin, and then one person picks up a dart from the dartboard in the corner and throws it at Tuppence. So let's see. First goes bar stool. That's a natural one. This bar brawl sucks. And the dart is 12. Does that hit you at all, Tuppence?
Misses.
Okay, the dart goes wide and kind of sticks into a table. Elwyn.
How much was Rook injured in the last attack? Did you take like 6 points of
5
damage?
points of
or
damage.
something? 5.
6, but
Okay.
we figured out it should be 5.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm fine.
Yeah. Well. Okay. I am going to close my eyes for a second and focus. And this is probably going to be a thing. Yep. So the difficult terrain entangled area fades as I shift my focus to a new spell. I wave my hands around, summoning back some of the ice and sending it out the window toward Rook. And
Oh.
at Rook's feet, the flurries kind of swirl and create this kind of translucent spirit form of a little snow bunny. And as I summon my healing spirit in his space. So you can take I'll roll 1d6 for you.
I'm familiar with this spell.
Yep, you've seen me do this before. So you take
should get a little-
four hit points back.
Thank you.
And then that was my bonus action. And for my action, then I'm going to grip my new staff and kind of slam it on the ground and send the rest of the ice from the floor into a flurry in front of the window. And I'm going to create an ice object to block the window so that none of the other thugs in here can follow him out. So just a giant, like 5x5 block up against the wall, completely freezing off that
Cool.
access.
Yeah, you can draw that on there if you want.
Okay.
First use
Yeah.
of the new staff.
First use of the new staff. So yeah, I think
And she made a block
what
of
we-
ice.
I
Woohoo!
made a block of ice. Well, it's not like an actual giant cube, but it's like just a slab of ice that's like up against the wall just to completely seal off that window. So yeah, that there is a big block of ice blocking the window now. And then I'm just going to, after doing that, kind of look at the other thugs that are remaining and kind of smirk like, let's see what you can do now kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then it is their turn if you're done. Two of these thugs kind of look at each other. They're like, well, should we deal with this one? And kind of close in on Elwyn. One of them will head towards the door. 15, 20, 25, 30. The two against Elwyn will make their attacks. And the one against Embers will also make attacks. So let's see. Elwyn, how do we do? 22,
Oh yeah.
a 14.
Yep.
Advantage is really helping because one of the dice is always low and the other one is higher. 16.
Yep.
And both useless. 10 is the best.
No.
Okay, so 3 hits. You'll take 15 points of damage
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
shoot.
as they basically come in and like start kicking you and like hitting you with their maces.
So
Um,
that's 3 concentration checks of 10.
Yes. Mhm.
Jesus, my con saving throw is 0. Cool.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, I already dropped Healing Spirit, so that's gone.
Well, you healed Rook once.
I healed
Um,
Rook once. That was 2nd level spell for 5 hit points. That worked out really great for us.
But Hakan, you can see these thugs basically come start attacking this young woman who doesn't look to be wearing armor or of any kind.
Hey, I've got leather armor on.
I guess that's true.
But
But
I'm
yeah,
very
they
squishy.
start ganging up on her. And then the one next to Embers will make its 2 attacks. Of course, I roll garbage against anyone who's not K. That's 12.
Nope.
And a natural
canon,
20. Natural 20.
Okay,
So there's
that does it.
Let's see. I'll have to actually roll this. Of course, it's minimum dice or minimum damage on the natural 20 for actually less than it would get if I took average damage. So 4 points of damage.
Sweet.
I'm sorry, Kay. This is canon. That's the thugs. Then it is Hakon's turn.
Okay. Hakon's a little bit torn here because he like looks to the left, he sees the bar brawl going on, and looks to the right, and he sees Elwyn getting like murdered, and she's like, "Oh, she was so nice to
Actually,
me, but my
though.
bar, she was so nice though." And then I yell towards the Dragonborn man. He's like, "You sure you got it?"
He's basically got like 3 patrons at once that he's managing. He's got like one in one claw by the head. He's got one that he has grabbed around the back and is basically lifting up off the ground. And then that's the hand that has a shield, and he simultaneously uses the shield to like smack another one. He says, "I've got this."
Okay, I believe him. All right. I will slowly walk behind this one thug, and I will drop my my hammer on the ground and like drag it on the floor, and then go for an uppercut.
Nice.
And use guidance as well.
Guidance might be
Guidance
an
is an action.
Is
Yeah.
it an action? Shoot.
Yeah, can't
think
guide
it is.
yourself when you attack, unfortunately.
Ah, shoot. Okay, never mind. I'll just go for a solid hit.
Yeah, it is an action, unfortunately. But luckily, these guys don't have terribly high armor class. So go ahead and roll that attack.
Okay. Oh, that's got a 14. Do I add anything to that?
Yeah, so on your D&D Beyond sheet, you'll see there's a section called Actions.
Mhm.
And you should see one for Traugrim there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a bonus to hit, and then it tells you the damage as well.
So I got a 18
Oh, yeah. Oh,
to
yeah.
hit. And
That
then
hits.
damage 6 plus 3 plus 2. So that's what, 11?
Yeah. Shoot,
Uh,
these thugs haven't really been damaged yet, have they?
It also says when you attack an object, or no, it's an object. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, let me just real quick review Traugrim to see if there were any. Oh, I forgot. It has a throne property. So just remember that.
Yeah.
You can hurl this thing.
Yeah, I know. I read that earlier.
But yeah, nothing other than that. Everything else is built into the attack.
Okay.
That attack does a ton of damage to this thug, and you can see that the thug like staggers, and it seems like you've got his attention now.
Okay. Yeah, I say back off, and I'll try to get myself as much as I can in between me and these thugs and Elwyn.
Okay, good turn. Rook, you're up.
Okay. So I really should have had Soul stay inside. Is there like the block of ice is like completely
Blocking the
Yeah,
window.
it's
Yeah, that
completely
works
blocking
both
the window.
ways.
okay.
The door's still open.
Yeah, I think Soul's gonna fly above these guys and go through the door.
Okay.
4, 5, 6. So he's gonna come over here. Can't do anything yet. I'll use a bonus action to have him use his ability on his turn, and then I'll use my action to cast. Did Embers hit one of the thugs outside, right?
Yeah, I got one blow in on the chief.
Okay. Then I will cast Magic Missile on him as I back away more. I'm going to use my movement to go over there. And then Magic Missile. So that is automatically hitting.
Don't you just love Magic Missile?
It's so good. 1d4 plus 1. Okay. So we got 1, 4, and 6, 7, 8 damage. Pew, pew, pew. 3 little darts. 8 damage, and then on Soul's turn, he is going to do the ability is called Force Strike, but he's going to fire, let's see if there's it's a ranged weapon attack.
So it could be like a little mini Magic Missile if you want.
Yeah. It's going to fire at the one that Hakan hit, and that is, let's see, spell attack modifier to hit, which is plus, so 12 to hit.
I think that just hits. Let me double check. Oh, yep, hits.
Okay. And so that is 3 damage.
This thug is definitely starting to look a little worse for wear.
Okay.
As the little magic missile kind of pings into him, stings
it's
a
like
little bit, kind of scratches the cheek.
It's like a green magic missile, as he has a slight green hum to him. He'll use some of that magic. And
then it is Tuppence.
So Tuppence will cast Healing Word on Ellen.
Thank you.
So it's a 1d4 plus 3.
Mm-hmm.
Want me to roll it?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
it's your spell.
Okay. You get 5 HP back. And so that's a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if for my action, I could fly over to her
Mm-hmm.
and sprinkle her with pixie dust
You absolutely could.
so that she can fly up with me. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Come on up. It's fine up here.
Oh my gosh.
For the second time in 2 days, Elwyn, you're floating.
Ah, I'm a little dazed, I think, still from getting smacked so many times, but yeah.
The air is fine and you'll be out of their reach.
That should be bonus action move for Tuppence.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay.
That's it.
The Bandit Captain out here will take his turn, making good on his promise to deal with Elwyn first, or Embers first, the other E name. I will make 3 attacks. Let's see. So that's 20, 21, and an 11.
The 11 misses.
Okay. So you take 12 points of slashing damage as he pulls out this scimitar and strikes at you with 2 big slashes.
Okay.
You best get out of my way if you know what's good for you. No one stands between Byron and his quarry. And then I think he will kind of navigate around you without leaving your threat range. Then it's Torin's turn, and Torin will just continue to deal with this bar brawl. Let's see. The bar brawl's AC is 12. Torin's bonus to hit is 6. 2 misses. But Torin basically doesn't manage to subdue any more patrons, but basically gets the shield in between everyone else and kind of is just keeping them on that side of the bar at the very least. I should use this breath weapon.
Is there extensive damage to anything in the bar?
There's a couple chairs and things that look a little broken. There's some glass on the ground. This window that Embers dove through is broken. But so far damage has been pretty minimal.
Broken
There's
and
also
sealed with ice.
there's crossbow bolts in the wall and there's a dart in one of the tables, but that's nothing that this tavern hasn't seen before.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's not that bad.
there's nothing terrible yet. Nothing's on fire.
That's great news.
And he was the bottom of the initiative, so it's back up to Embers.
Okay, let's see here. Let me check something real quick. Okay. Embers looks at the bounty hunter captain and says, "Do I look like a woman who knows what's good for her ever?" And I'm going to use a feature. Going to spend 2 key points to Embers kind of like concentrates, and like the warmth kind of like flows top to bottom, breathes in and out, and some of her wounds close a little bit.
Ooh.
Let's see, this is my quickened healing.
That's the cool optional feature
Yeah.
from Tasha's.
Mhm.
Cool.
Ooh, got max. So that's 6 HP back for me. And then because I spent a key point, I get to, for free, do a bonus action attack, which I'm going to do against, I think, this other thug.
Okay.
Oh, does a 12 hit?
It does, in fact.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Thank goodness something hits. Okay, my max damage again, 9 bludgeoning damage to this other
snap.
thug.
So yeah, this one is the dwarf woman with the little bit of stubble, and you just kind of pop her one right in the face.
Mm-hmm.
She goes staggering back a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. I feel like this. Yeah, I may as well just stay where I am. Okay, yeah, that's the end of my turn.
The bar brawl engulfs Torin entirely. Except I'm gonna put Torin on
Torin!
top. No, I can't put Torin on top.
Torn!
No.
And basically
Not like
is
this.
is going to make 2
No.
a bar stool and a broken bottle attack against him, I think.
What a way to
well,
go.
The broken bottle misses. The bar stool definitely hits with a 19. So Torin will take, let's see, bar stool does 14 points of damage
Wow.
to Torin.
Torin, no.
Torin still looks rather healthy, but this is the first damage he's taken, as one of them gets kind of a lucky shot with a bar stool over his head. So he looks a little
So funny.
dazed. I wanted to use this against you guys, but so far I'm just fighting myself with it. Elwyn, it's your turn.
Oh, fuck.
Really glad we brought him along.
Okay.
Quite useful.
Okay. These 2 thugs that are next to me haven't used any reactions yet, have they?
Not yet, no.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, then even though I'm floating, I can't really escape right now without taking an OA. So I am going to do a thing, and I'm going to focus, and I'm going to tuck and roll and transform into an ape.
Oh, okay.
A flying
So
ape.
just like, yep. So I'm a flying ape now. So
God.
just somersault and fur bursts out. This pearlescent fur bursts out all over my body, and I get all muscular. And that's my entire action because fucking druids. So I can't do shit, but I'm an ape now. So I have some
Nice.
HP. Yeah.
I was trying to find an ape token, but I am having no luck. So, wouldn't you believe it? I'm not prepared for an ape. But you are one now.
I'm an ape. Standing
Anything
here.
else?
I beat my chest threateningly at the 2 thugs.
That scares me as well.
Both of them go, whoa!
Floating ape.
It's their turn now. But they are actually both going to go for Hakan instead of you, since he came over with that big old hammer of his. So I will roll their attacks. One of them, so the first one's probably going to hit at a 22. That was a really good roll. Next one is a 20. I don't remember what your armor class is.
It's 16.
Okay. So both of those from the first thug hit.
Okay.
The next one just misses at 15. And the final attack hits at a 17. So you'll take 3 attacks from them with their maces. So that's 15 points of damage.
Can I use my reaction?
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Wrath of the Storm.
You definitely can.
Okay. So I'm gonna use it on the dude that's already kind of bloodied.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
yes, it's a Dex saving throw, DC 13.
That's, I think, a failure. Let's see, any bonus to Dex? +0. So yeah, failure.
Okay, and he takes 2d8 of thunder damage. That's 10 damage.
Oh wow.
Ooh, nice.
This one
Excellent.
is barely standing now. What does that look like when you use Wrath of the Storm?
I guess he would probably take the hit and recoil and just like put a hand on him and just shock him back.
Boom.
Yeah, cool. It looks like one
So
of the
badass.
thug's eardrums kind of bursts at that, and there's a little bit of blood running from his ear.
So badass.
That's the 2 indoor thugs. There is an outdoor thug who is still on embers. The thug kind of comes up a little bit and says to Byron, "Don't worry about this one. I'll cover you." And we'll make attacks against embers with pack tactics. Natural 20. And well, this one's gonna miss. 12.
Yeah, that one misses. These crits, man.
This one actually manages to do more damage than normal, so that's good.
Is it?
11 points of damage.
Okay.
As she kind of slams into you with the mace, trying to stagger you so that her boss can go after the quarry. Okay, that's the thugs. Then it's a Hakan's turn.
How bad is that one dude?
Very bad.
Very. I could probably just breathe on him and he'll die.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
Breath of the Storm.
Yeah, there we go. I should probably just finish him off. Yeah,
They've had their turn already. And
That's
everyone else
true.
gets to go too. So if you want to go for the other guy too, that's fine.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, how does the a melee spell attack work?
Which one are you looking at?
Inflict Wounds.
Basically, it works the same as a regular attack. You'll see that there's a plus to hit bonus there next to it. And then the damage is listed there as well. So basically, you just roll that d20 just like a normal attack.
No modifier from the weapon or anything. It's just the spell.
Yeah, it's that spell bonus that's listed on D&D
Yeah.
Beyond next to it.
Okay, so it's a +5. So I will turn and looked at the nice healthy one, and I got a 17 for Inflict
oh, yeah.
Wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Fuck
gonna
yeah, that's such
cast
a
it-
good spell.
It's really good, and I'm gonna cast it at level 2.
Cool.
So that's 4d10.
Oh my
Ugh.
god.
Yes.
Alright, 10. 6, 16.
16.
That's a 1, 17, and a 2. Ugh. So
Would
that's
you say that's above average, Zach?
No, just under.
That's 19.
Okay, so what does this one look like? It looks like it takes this person down under like half their vitality in one go, though.
It's
don't
also necrotic damage. so I don't know if
Do,
that
does,
matters.
do like cuts and things just erupt on them, or do they begin to wither away? What's it look like?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think that he would start like withering and his skin might start to wrinkle a little bit. He didn't have any wounds before, so maybe
No.
just like cuts would just start appearing.
And
Skin.
each one that appears kind of crackles with a little bit of electricity, maybe.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. He screams out in pain as that happens, for sure.
Great.
Anything else from Hakan?
Nope. I think I did everything I can, pretty much.
Okay. Then it is Rook's turn.
Okay. So I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on Embers through Soltem.
Oh,
Cool.
So I'm gonna
Nice.
move Soltem here, channel a Cure Wounds spell, and Soltem takes the magic and places one of his little hands on Embers and heals Embers for 11.
Hey.
Wow.
good.
That's exactly what the crit did.
So otherwise, let's see, that is my action and my
Soltem
bonus
MVP.
action, and Soltem from there is
For
going
real.
to step back out of harm's way, and I'm going to move exit stage right
Oh, okay.
as far as I can,
Let's reveal
and
an
then
area.
I will shout back and say, "That's all I got, Embers, and you guys should pick a new line of work." And I run away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am like oh, I guess I can just start rounding the corner.
Yeah, if you
So
want
I
to
was
get
here.
out of
So
sight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'd be here. Okay. And that's it.
Okay.
Oh, I need to knock out a spell slot.
Tuppence. Tuppence it is.
Tuppence is going to look over at poor Torin and feel so sorry for him. So she's going to cast sleep on the entire roiling mass
Cool.
over
Cool,
there.
cool. Yeah, roll those dice. I don't think it's a save for this one. It's like a certain amount of HP, right?
It's 5d8. Yep. Okay, here we go. 8 and 9 is 17. 17 plus 11, 28.
28. Okay, so it's not quite enough to put the whole Brawl to sleep, but I am going to damage the Brawl for that. As you just knock out a couple people within it. How much did you say you did? It was 28?
28.
Okay, I will do half of that in damage to the Brawl, even though that's not normally how sleep works.
Thank you. That's nice.
And
He's
yeah,
gonna-
you see basically if a few of them that are harassing Torin just kind of fall asleep and collapse to the ground.
Yay.
Nice. Also, your
Thank you, Tuppence!
it sounds like your connection might be stable. I don't know if you want to turn your camera back on or not.
Okay, we'll try it. I'll yell at Torin. You're doing great. Keep it up.
He like gives you a thumbs up in between, you know.
So it's like sinking
attacks from
back
other
into
people,
the. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Okay. Bandit Captain is going to take an attack of opportunity from Embers.
Oh, okay.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Can I? This might not work, but I want my attack of opportunity to be a grapple.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
Okay.
So it's a strength athletics check from you.
I know, which is not my strong suit, but it might work. Who knows? He's got to contest it, right?
Yep. I rolled pretty high, so it's
Rolled
19.
Pretty low, way below that.
So yeah, you reach out and try and grab him, but he throws you off and says, "Not today, Catwoman." He goes dashing off around the corner after
Okay.
Rook. And as he gets around the corner, he shouts, probably so that only Embers really, because you're outside, can hear this. Vertinor Ornglass, I am bringing you in whether you like it or not. That is his turn. Torin, I'll continue to play Dungeons and Dragons by myself as Torin makes some attacks.
These are the results of
I think you-
consequences of
I think you mean
Actions
brawlers
he's
and
chosen.
dragonborns.
Yeah. Torin gets 2 hits, one of which is a natural 20 against this
Nice.
bar brawl.
Yes, Torin.
How much damage does he do? Let's see. With a... Okay. So that's 2d10 for his natural 20. 6 plus 4, that's 10 points of damage for one, and then 9 for the other. Torin knocks out a few more people, and it looks like this bar brawl is nearly dissipated. The last few fighters are just the remaining, like, very drunk ones at this point. Everyone else has either shied off or been put to sleep or knocked out by Torin. Cool. He's the bottom, which puts us back to Embers.
I mean,
Embers is going to use her feline agility to double her movement speed, take an OA, and put herself.
Which it's going to try and take a leaf out of your book and grab you,
Okay.
but you can use your dex on this one, so I'm sure this will
Okay.
go in your favor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can use acrobatics, right?
You're only trying to beat a 10.
21.
So yeah, you get out of there.
Yeah.
No,
boss,
she's coming.
And I round the corner and get in between Rook and the captain says, "What happened to dealing with me first, huh?"
Damn it
And
all. Get out of my way, woman.
attacks. Oh, these might be good. Does a 16 hit?
I believe so. Let me double check. Yes, it does.
And they all hit. 24 bludgeoning damage.
Wow. Yeah, let's see, what kind of armor does this guy wear? He's got studded leather armor on, so you just kind of like find the weak points in the armor and just punch.
Yeah.
I
I know where they are now because they hit all the strong points before.
Yeah. You definitely get one in his gut that like doubles him over a little bit and just groans in pain. Anything else for you?
That was the action move and bonus action.
Then it's the bar brawl, which now has half its hit points and is significantly less deadly. But I will use a bonus action to do liquid courage and
Oh, no.
regain 7 hit points as the drunk ones just get
Oh my
drunker.
God.
Oh no.
That's amazing.
Still under half its hit points though, so it's still less useful. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna keep going with Torin. So 2 hits against Torin, 7 points for the bar stool, and 5 points for the broken bottle. So that's what, 12 total. Move it so I can actually access Torin. Torin is starting to not look so good. As the most belligerent patrons kind of gang up on him. Elwyn, you're up. Or should I say Apewyn?
So question about the pixie dust. What's my fly speed?
I think it's 60 feet, right?
Is it the same as mine?
It's in the item description. I'll look it up real quick. Hold on. Let's see. You gain fly speed of 30 feet and the ability to
mine is
hover for
30.
1 minute.
30 feet. Okay, fuck. Okay. In that case, well, I've got 2 fists and 2 thugs in front of me. So I'm going to punch the one that looks more bloodied first. Just really going to enjoy giving some back. Giving back.
It's really all about giving back, to be
really
honest, so.
about giving back.
You're so generous.
That's a natural 20.
Oh dang!
Hey.
So generous.
So
Okay, so I get to roll 2d6 instead of just 1d6. And that was 6 plus 3, 9 bludgeoning damage.
You knock him out.
Excellent. And then I turn to the other one and punch. And that's a natural 1.
Oh. So
Oh no.
in your ape form, you're riding the high from the first big punch.
I just completely miss. But that's all right because I'm just going to float my way out of there. I don't care if I take an OA. I'm done with these losers. Hakon's got it under control. So I've got 30 feet of movement, so I can get probably there. Oops. See, I can't use roll 20 either, Will. It's fine. I think that was 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Fortunately, losing the advantage of the pack tactics granted by its friend, this thug swings wide as you try and fly away and just misses.
I mean, my AC is much lower as an 8, but
Oh, is it?
oh, it's only 1 lower as an 8, actually. My AC is 12.
Well, that's still better than a 6. So
Yeah, excellent. Cool. So I'm this flying ape just getting the fuck out of Dodge. Yep. Heading outside.
Yeah, this one so it's the thug's turn next. This one that's out here, or that's left in the bar, kind of is now alone without its gang. So I think they're going to run away. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Basically run outside. And Hakan, as it runs, you can make an attack of opportunity if you want to like swing your hammer or something.
yeah, I'm gonna try to trip him. Just go right for the ankles. Let's see. That's so it's just a basic attack with the hammer, right?
Yeah, well, if you want to stop the person in place, we could do this as like a grapple check
Okay.
and flavor it as you tripping them, if that's what you want to do.
I think I'll just hit him.
Okay.
Just knock him out. And let's see. That's a 21.
That hits, absolutely.
Okay. Damage is 9 plus 2, so 11.
You get a big smack in this thug's back as he's fleeing, and he staggers out, definitely on last legs, as he runs out of the bar and says, Byron, I think we might be outnumbered.
I shake my fist in anger at him as he runs away.
So do I.
Yeah, as an ape too.
Yeah.
That's it for thugs. It's then Hakon's turn.
What does the dwarven woman outside do?
Oh, that's right. I nearly forgot about her. Good call. She goes running after her boss. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Wait, she's a dwarf? Doesn't she only have 25 feet of movement?
Probably, but I didn't apply it to the stats. So
Damn it.
yeah. I didn't want to track 3 different stat blocks, so I didn't apply racial traits. I didn't give the
Yeah.
fire genasi guy the ability
That's
to throw
fine.
fire either. So
That's fine.
Hakan, you're up.
Okay. Does that token of the dude of the other thug that's right below me?
Oh, that's the one that Apewind punched out.
Oh, I see a second one right
Yeah,
next to me.
if you move.
There's a dude.
Huh? Is there?
I don't see one.
Oh, okay. I see a dude right underneath me.
It's here. Yeah, me too.
Oh, weird.
What is going on? I moved that one out.
I don't see
outside.
it either.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You might
Maybe-
need to reload your browser. I moved that one
Okay.
outside.
It's not there though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's fine.
cool.
Sorry
I'm
about
reloading
that.
now.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna walk up to the. Actually, are there windows on like the side of the building? Could I see like?
It doesn't look like there are on the sides.
Okay.
There were on the front, and there are some on the. Well, no, there's not really any on the back either. There's really only windows on the front.
darn. So I can't see like Rook or Embers then.
Nope.
Okay. I'm just gonna go up to the bar fight. That's 5, 10, 15, 20. And gosh. Can I just try to just pin down like the last couple of guys? Just make like a strength check. I
Yeah,
don't
make
wanna...
it an athletics check if you want. That should
Okay.
be listed in your skills.
Mhm.
It might not be any different from your strength, but that's what it would be.
Okay. How many people are left?
It's a non-specific number, but it's down to the the last lingering few, like maybe 5 or 6.
Okay. So do you think damage would just be like better then?
I think either way you want to proceed is fine. Damage will knock out the people, and you can obviously do that without killing them. Or you can try and grab the brawl and keep it from moving. It's up to you.
Okay. And the Dragonborn dude is still inside there.
Yeah,
and
he's still kind
like,
of in the knot of people.
crap. Okay, I don't want to kill him. Let's see. I mean, I could just knock him unconscious. He's already pretty bad, right?
Torin, yeah, he's already looking pretty rough.
I'd feel bad, but I want this bar to.
Hey, I mean, at
borrow
this point,
that.
he's basically part of the brawl, so
That's true. Okay,
no.
yeah. In reality, I'd probably just put them all together as one, and I'm gonna cast Shatter on them.
Okay.
Non-lethal, obviously.
so that's is it a con save?
Yeah, con 13. And it's 3d8.
The brawl fails. I'll check on Torin.
Sorry, Lauren.
Torin succeeds.
Creature takes 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save. Okay. So that's going to be 6 damage total. That was terrible.
Well, any is better than none.
And the good news is Torn's not down.
Yep, Torin takes half and survives.
But yeah, basically just like a small thundercloud appears above the brawl and just this loud pinging noise just kind of shatters everyone's eardrums and try to make them just knock out or get distracted enough to stop fighting.
Yeah, and probably one of them does fall down and just basically is unconscious after that, but there's still a few remaining.
Okay.
That brings it to Rook.
Okay. Is Ember's looking okay? I think so. How's
It was
the...
just
Sorry.
over half health, yeah.
Okay, how's the captain looking?
Definitely very hurt from the last flurry of blows that Ember's unleashed, but still standing.
Hmm.
He's still got some fight in him.
Okay. Then I will... I guess I'll do another magic missile on him. Whoops. Let's see. Okay. 6 damage.
Okay.
Minimum damage.
Still standing.
Below average. And yeah, I will run my movement speed again. I can't select my character. Oh, because I have the measurement tool.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Up I go. Exploring the outside of the tavern.
Running out of room. I might have to add some more visibility soon.
It's all right. And then I will have Soul use... What's his range? 1 second.
You are kind of out of visual for Soul. I'm not sure how much control you have when you can't really see.
Let
I
me
guess
see.
you've got telepathy, so
Yeah.
yeah, you can control him.
Okay. 30 feet it says for this attack. So 1, 2. Okay. So yeah, he'll just poke his head out and use the Force Strike on the one right below him.
Sounds good.
So we'll do an attack with him. That's a 12 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and then that is minimum damage. 3 damage.
The emerald green bolt strikes this fleeing figure in the back, and they go face planting in the snow.
Okay, fine. Great. Good job, Soul.
Yep.
All right.
Had 2 hit points left.
Actually, instead of going back, then he will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. 6. He'll come after me then.
As this fire genasi goes face down in the snow, he just says, "A pocket watch? Really?"
Telling y'all,
Um,
Sultan's gonna be the best of us all.
We'll see.
From your dream.
Tuppence, it's your turn.
Okay, so the only thing left to fight are outside
Or the bar brawl.
and the bar brawl. So I'm wondering, yeah, Dissonant Whispers works where, well, it's basically just one creature within range. But would it work on the?
It would
bar
work on
brawl?
the bar brawl. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So 3d6 on a failed save, and it is a wisdom save.
Okay. Don't think it's a very wise bar brawl. It is not. 10. 10 doesn't do it.
Correct, they fail. All right. So, ooh, above average damage. That's 12. Psychic.
Only one person seems to be standing in this bar brawl now.
But it has to move too in my getaways.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
What is it? Where it just
It
moves
must
away
immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from me.
from you. And as it's running, Torin will. I guess Hakan was against it too. Both of you can make attacks of opportunity if you want.
Sure. Oh, that's a natural one.
Yeah, Torin also misses. As funny as it would be to like have him throw something at this person as they're running away, but this last person goes running away. Ah, I don't really want the bounty anyways. Make the whispers stop. Anything else for Tuppence?
I don't think you caught it last time, but I gave Torin inspiration, bardic inspiration, because I said you can do it, but I didn't specifically say. So I don't know whether to mark it off or not.
If you want to mark it off, I can use it on his opportunity attack, and we'll see if he knocks these guys out.
All right. Sorry, I'll be more clear.
It's a D6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that he had 9 total, and I rolled a 3, and the bar brawl's AC is 12 exactly. So as the last guy is fleeing, Torin basically with the shield just kind of like knocks this person out and sends them sprawling across a chair, and then kind of claps his, wipes off his hands, holsters his shield, and says, "Well, that takes care of that. Balance restored."
Well done.
And he goes to like clasp your hand, Hakan.
Yeah. Are we out of combat, like us in the bar?
We'll keep an initiative for just a moment.
Okay.
Just because there's stuff going on outside.
Yeah, I'll give him a nice firm handshake then.
Then it is the Bandit Captain's turn. Rook is just getting away, and Embers keeps finding her way here, so I guess Bandit Captain's going to attack Embers. So we'll do the scimitars first.
Been
An
evading.
18 and a 7.
Nice.
The 18 will hit.
And then the dagger is a natural 20. I don't know what's up,
Wow,
guys.
3 times.
I feel like I
Um,
can't complain anymore about how he rolls against me.
I have a
Okay.
really high AC.
It's a good thing it's the dagger that's the natural 20. Though,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's true.
So the first scimitar is 6 points of damage, and the
Okay.
dagger, I will roll, is 5 plus 3, 8 points of piercing damage.
Oof. Real low, but I'm up.
And he looks at his thug and says, "Finish her." And then it's Torin's turn. He's inside. He basically just, holds that grip with Hakan for maybe longer than is slightly comfortable with a big grin on his face.
That's just a little
and-
awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Says, "You're quite the fighter, my little friend." And then he finally lets go of your hand.
Okay.
He won't do anything else on his turn. Embers.
Which one of these two is looking worse?
The leader is looking worse.
All right. Attack against the leader. See if I can do this.
Come on, Embers, you can
Well,
do it.
they'll both hit. I was hoping for a natural 20, but why would I ever get a natural 20? Let's see here. That's like a 21 and something else. So
Okay. Yep.
does 13 bludgeoning damage bring him down?
Not quite yet.
Ah, dang it. If only I had to roll higher.
Very close though. Like he's bleeding out the
Yeah.
mouth.
And I
Um,
think like once I've like punched him a little bit, I'd be like, yeah, you can get me down, but that guy's gonna get away.
Then it is unless you have anything else.
And that's it. I'm
Then
all
it's
out of
Elwyn.
key points.
Elwyn's turn then.
Fuck. Okay. All right. I think I can make it to like here.
Can you drop the ice block? Out the
Not
window?
unless I cast another one.
Oh, okay.
No,
I see.
I'll come here and I will drop my wild shape.
Mhm.
So I transform back into myself and I'm just not in a good shape, but I'm floating because of
Mhm.
pixie dust. And I can see them around
I'd
the
say,
corner? from
yeah, you can
here?
probably see the dwarven woman, like the corner of her cloak or something like that around the corner. Just barely.
Okay, that's all I can see. Okay, then I am going to. How's she looking? She looking like super.
You don't have
rough?
a good eye on her,
Okay, I
but
don't have
you
an
from
idea.
here you can tell at least that she's about to swing at something or someone.
Okay, I'm just gonna, without really thinking about it, I'm gonna cast Ice Knife. Just fling an
Nice.
Ice Knife at her. So I hate all of my dice. No, I'm just kidding. I love you all. Please roll really well for me. We're gonna do this one. Oh, okay. That's a 16 to hit.
Yes, that hits the thug.
16. Okay, so the thug takes I think this is, oh god, okay. I just did this at first level. So it's 1d10 piercing damage on the thug. Of 10.
10?
10 piercing damage, and then
Dang.
so basically she throws her hands out and this like shard of ice just shoots toward this thug, hits the dwarvish woman and just explodes. And so everyone within 5 feet of her needs to make a dex saving throw. Sorry,
So that's
Embers.
Embers 2.
I'm good at those. This is like my best
Yeah.
save. Not that good though. 13.
13 fails.
Okay.
18 for the captain.
Jesus fucking shit, Ethan. Just fucking die.
It's still half
roll-
damage, right?
No, it's if they fail, they don't take any, I don't think. That's why I'm angry.
Oh.
But the target also takes this damage. So the dwarf will take 6.
Oh, let me roll for her. Yeah, it's a fail.
The target and each creature must succeed on a dex save or take 2d6 cold damage. So 6 cold damage to anyone who failed that.
Okay. Embers is down.
Oh,
Sorry,
no.
Embers. Sorry.
Friendly
I thought I
fire,
could get
friendly
the
fire.
fucking motherfucker. Well, I had a different plan, but I can't see him from here because I'm slow. So that's what I do.
After Elwyn, it's the thugs. So you can hear the captain from somewhere nearby when that ice knife explodes. Basically go shit, and then there's the explosion, and then he's like, "What? Oh, you're okay. All right, go get him." And the dwarvish woman runs forward 20, 25, 30. And she will make a crossbow attack from where she is. Or should she just get up and like try and get next to you? Yeah, she's just gonna try and no, she's gonna make a crossbow attack. Yep. I made up my mind. It's a miss. That's a 5.
Okay.
She's the only thug left, so it's Hakan.
Still clasping Torrent's hand.
3 minutes later.
Yeah. So
When we're handshaking, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on him.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
3 + 3, so 6.
Yeah, you can see some of his wounds begin to close up there.
And then I will sit back, sit down on the bench, and just assess the damage.
It's actually not too bad. It could have been much worse. Stuff is out of order and displaced, but not too much is broken other than this window right here. So that's fortunate.
Yeah, and also is the thug dead or unconscious?
Was it you who knocked him out, or was it was Apewin, right?
Yeah.
What would Apewin have done?
To this thug,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he punched him in the face.
I mean, I would have just absolutely crushed his head in.
All right. Yep. He's dead.
Okay.
Which also reminds me, what about this thug by the door? Was Soltem shooting to kill?
No.
No. Okay. So that one is probably is conscious in the snow, but you can't really see him. Right. Rook. Rook. You hear in your head
Oh,
as
God.
these bandits are coming towards you, and you're now the only one out here as far as you know.
Okay.
Vertinor,
God. Why
they
now?
know who you are.
Why are you talking to me now?
You have to kill them.
Holy fuck.
God.
Wow. Was not prepared for that.
All right.
Voice changers.
No, that's his real
Right.
voice, audience. Like, he's been using a voice changer to talk like this the whole time, believe it or not. It's crazy. Okay, is it my turn?
Yes, it is your turn.
Do I feel a strong compulsion to do as he asks?
Not yet.
Okay. Because I was going to anyways. So I think I'll think back to him and say, you didn't have to tell me that. And once I notice that Embers gets dropped, he stops on his heels and starts turning around and then just walks up to this thug and uses his Thunder Gauntlet to punch him in the face. And that is probably going to hit. That's a 22.
Yep.
And the Thunder Gauntlet, that's almost max damage. That is 11 damage.
She goes down.
Yeah.
Is
so
this is this one lethal?
Yeah. And so she'll just get, you see a shockwave, or I guess the captain will see a shockwave come out and her body will just kind of ragdoll walk away, and Rook looks really upset at this captain man.
Who now begins to have a glisten of fear in his eyes as he's now alone and your gauntlet is crackling with this electricity.
Great.
Tuppence, anything? You're inside.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna fly toward the door.
Okay. You go ahead and do that, and we'll move on to Bandit Captain, who basically seeing this is very intimidated and says, "No, no, wait,
Stand
look,
down.
I just wanted to bring you in.
Stand down.
It wasn't even my idea. The other guy, the other bounty hunter, he told me where you are. He told me who you were. Look, I'll just walk away.
No, you
You
stay
just
here.
let me go." He
You
gets
tell
to
me.
run.
Okay.
He goes basically off the map a couple
So
squares.
I'll just yell out for anyone who's listening. And I'll say, "Stop him."
Then Torin does nothing. Embers, can I have a death save?
Hmm? Oh, it's a 2,
Okay, so
which
one
is not
failure.
a 1.
Elwyn. This
How
guy's
far
probably
away from him
4
is me?
squares off the map.
Are you sure that's how far he is? You sure he's not just a little bit closer? Like
5,
close
10,
enough from
15,
like
20.
for
Yeah,
me to
he'd be
catch him in a
like 4 squares
15-foot
off the map.
cone, perhaps?
Not quite
Fucking
that
hell.
close, no.
You can't cut us any breaks.
I mean, he's
So if he's 4
Rick-
squares off the map, he's what, 35 feet if I move?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna move my full movement toward him off the map, I guess, a little bit.
Oh, Soul
But-
didn't go.
that's true.
Can he? I'm gonna take a shot with him if that's okay. If I can.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, Soul is also gonna chase this guy and keep pace with him and make an attack. It's a natural 1 though, so don't even worry about it.
Pew!
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay. Fuck. Fuck. How bad does he look?
Very bad. Like 2 or 3 hit points bad.
Fucking shit balls. Fucking hell. Shit. Fuck.
Shuck.
Come on, Kay, you can do this.
I just don't trust myself or you. I'm gonna cast Ice Knife at a 2nd level
Okay.
at him. My hands are sweating, you guys. We're gonna go with, okay, it's a big roll. I'm gonna use the big one. Okay. That's a 16 again.
That hits. You
Okay.
needed a 15.
Okay. So Ice Knife at level 2. Oh, the cold damage is going to increase. So he'll also need to make that dex save.
That's an
Okay,
11.
5
Total
piercing
failure.
damage. He fails the dex save, so he gets 3d6 of ice damage. So that was a 5 piercing damage. I don't know if you heard that from
Yep.
the.
Which took him
Knife.
down to 1 hit point.
And then that's going to be 11 cold damage from the explosion.
And he basically is thrown by the exploding ice shard. Is that lethal?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ice just like scrapes him, and he is
All right.
bleeding out in the snow.
Tuppence
And
can still talk to him.
I know
we
we've
need
gone a
to
bit
do.
late.
That's a
I
good
know we've
point.
gone a bit late, but can those of you who are outside make perception checks for me?
Yes.
Did I make
How
another
bright
save-
is it?
save while
How
this
bright is
happening?
it out here?
Oh yeah, you absolutely can, Nick. It's dark out here.
Okay.
That's two failures.
No.
Wait,
I
do you
got
get to
you,
go
bro.
before me? Because I was gonna heal you.
Embers does go before you.
Okay, so I'll get to you next turn now. On my next turn. So you're okay. You're okay. I got a 16 on perception.
I got a 9.
Okay. Elwyn, you're a little bit distracted because you notice Embers is on the ground, unconscious. But Rook, you're kind of, what was your roll? What did you say
16.
total? 16, okay. You're a little bit, you start to look around your surroundings a little bit more just to make sure there's no one else here. And you notice something as you kind of look down, because this tavern's up on a hill, and you have a good view of the valley. You look down and you can see that there are, in fact, 2 towns kind of situated across the valley from each other. One of them next to a forest, which you can kind of see in the moonlight, and another one by a lake. And you can see in the center there is a like a church, this like Gothic cathedral, surrounded by graves. And as you watch in this late night, you see around that church, encompassing its entire circumference, a massive wall of flame leaps to life and begins to illuminate that central part of the valley. And that's when you hear the screams coming from that direction.
Jesus.
And that's where we will pick up next week. So thank you all for watching. Thank you to all of you players for joining, especially Will. It was a delight to have you.
Thanks
And
for
I'm
having
really
me.
looking forward to the rest of this little bit with Hakan. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, so we'll be back with more of
3
this Monday.
cheers
7.
for Will, everyone.
3 cheers for Will.
Yay!
Woo-woo.
Natural.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back with more of this Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So hope to see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.